Got it. Preparing to live stream. And great. We're live streaming, Dean.
Hey, we're here on New Thought Live. Creatives. My gosh, creatives. Are you letting fear guide you, or are you thinking thoughts of courage and confidence and capability? Recently, we had a client that had spent a bunch of weeks in anxious anticipation over an upcoming test. Dread, concern, extra meditation to make sure it didn't go wrong was their battle plan. You want to know how this turned out? Well, stick around. Today on New Thought Live, Rich and I are going to discuss how we set ourselves up for success through positive expectation, and how we set ourselves up for failure through negative expectation. And we're going to explore how potentiality unfolds as actually depending on closest thoughts. Go for it, Richard.
Yeah, well, creators, we never feel anxiety or any anxious anxiety. I don't think so. I mean, I've never done it. I've always moved through my film career without any anxiety, So I'm glad that that we're going to talk about this today. And so anxiety, do you ever get anxiety?
Oh, yes. Yes. Less than in prior parts of my life, but yes. And it always comes out of it's like a blindsided kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, you were in theater. So, they talk about actors, real professional actors, they get up on stage and they have anxiety before they get up on stage. They get knots in their stomach, nervousness. Even the most professional actors, I've heard about this. So I'm sure you as a performer have experienced that on stage. And what do you do now, Dean? Now that you use spirituality, spiritual principles.
Here's the thing. There's two different ways I approach it. I approach it from the more mortal, the scientific, looking at the neural pathways, which, the type of anxiety that you were describing is really, it's not a fight or flight anxiety. It's a low level kind of stage fright anxiety. And your neural pathways your neurons use the same neural pathways for that kind of low level anxiety as they do for excitement. So from a scientific standpoint, what I'm able to do is just really reframe that kind of anxiety as excitement. And it's like flipping a switch. Try it, please try it, folks, because it's like flipping a switch. It's like, oh, I'm not frightened. I'm excited. And it brings a whole switch to how you approach things. But then from a spiritual standpoint, there's the idea that your thoughts, your collective thoughts are things. And the more you, like with this client we were talking about, the more this client dreaded this event, concern, consternation, using meditation so things didn't go wrong, which is great, but you want to kind of go from a perspective of positiveness to allow that expression of wholeness and perfection and completeness to fully manifest, even more than it would perhaps without any particular spiritual practice. So in this particular case, it's really fascinating because I got to be with this client, and the thing that they were dreading just went beautifully well. I mean, I should have set this up with their thoughts led them to this negative experience, and the experience actually turned out that way. Well, their thoughts were just they were such aberrations that their thoughts of negativity were just so not based in truth. And they experienced this challenge, this test that they were going through with such an uplifting sense of light that it became an example of how frivolous and how unimportant their concerns were. And they really took it to heart. It really was a spiritual unfolding of ease and flow and joy and excitement. And that's where this client was really using a sense of seeing that they were always in their rightful place for this test, for this challenge. They identified that they were with the right people at the right time, and they felt comfortable with the people that they were with. And then they brought in a sense of, I can do this. I can do this. There's a sense of capability. And they were clearly committed to this test. So between the capability and that courage that they were putting together, they felt a sense of spiritual confidence that was just amazing, just amazing.
That's great. Love doing this kind of work. I'm going to talk a little bit about the other kind of anxiety, anxious anxiety, and that's when I used to work as a cinematographer. I first started out, I remember shooting the band Boston. I was their first assistant camera person, and I had to get on there with the, film camera, 35 millimeter film camera that we're using, and I had to rack focus and, assist the cameraman. I was just super nervous about that, and I didn't have the confidence that I needed. And so where I find my confidence is knowing that I'll use my principle 21 from The Infinite Filmmaker. So I have a book, 52 Laws and Principles of the Infinite Filmmaker. It's based on the idea that your life is a movie created by an infinite filmmaker, and there's no limit to what it can create in your movie called life. The infinite filmmaker, it's like the creator of all it is. And so I just have so much confidence in that anymore. I don't have the anxiety that I used to have when I move forward with a project or anything. I just go in complete confidence, knowing that I'm working with this unlimited power and presence that's there to support me, and that kind of like everything seems to unfold in perfect order because I have this understanding that there's this power and presence out there that's working in and as and through me. And I used to get in so much anxiety and worry. And because I'd be in so much anxiety and worry, I'd make mistakes on the set, oh my God, I forgot to turn the camera on when the director said, okay, it's, what was it? Sound, action, camera. Okay, boom. And I'd forget, and I go, oh my God, we just did a whole scene and I forgot to turn the camera on. Anxiety and worry. So if you're experiencing this anxiety and worry, go to principle 21. The same power that the infinite filmmaker uses to create everything in the universe is used to create the movie of your life. That immense power cannot contain itself and must express itself in you, as you, and through you. This is how it creates. As you grasp more and more that you're working with this unlimited power, who is never withholding itself, you will have no reason to become discouraged ever again. And so, that's where I find my courage to be able to move forward and to just know that everything is unfolding in my life in perfect order. Nothing's out of place. And so when I start to worry about something, I just turn it over to my higher power. That's what you want to call it. Turn it over to infinite intelligence. Just turn it over and allow things to unfold in perfect order. And I don't make as many mistakes as I used to make, just, using this principle.
Before we go, now this is very secular, but I wanted to share a story Dan Sullivan tells. It's a story about when he was in the Army, and he had an Army sergeant that taught him a valuable lesson about fear. And the day before this big Army event, the Army sergeant said, okay, is anybody scared? And Dan Sullivan raised his hand because he has a value of truth, and he was being honest. And he was the only one out of 50 people that raised their hand when asked, is anybody scared about this upcoming challenge? And so the sergeant said that he actually was the sergeant was saying that he went on to say that there's no dishonor in saying that you're scared. As a matter of fact, people who were scared and don't say they're scared worried him even more than the people who admitted they were scared. The people who didn't admit they were scared worried the sergeant even more. He said, as a result, he told Sullivan, you go first, because you had authority, you had confidence enough to say you were scared. And so Sullivan went down into the pit and performed according to the instructions. And then after the training exercise, the sergeant said, and it's a little crass, but I really like it, I want to tell you the difference between fear and courage. Fear is wetting your pants. Courage is doing what you're supposed to do with wet pants.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, that reminds me, I used to study with T. Harv Eker. He was a self-empowerment coach. I actually trained with him. And so I want to read to end this broadcast, I'd like to read my weekly assignment from my 52 Laws and Principles, Principle 21. So this week, whenever you start to feel fear, doubt, or worry towards your dream anyways, know that you are working with an unlimited power and presence who's not holding back anything from you. As one of my mentors, T. Harv Eker, said, you don't kill the cobra of fear, you tame the cobra of fear. You do that by taking action in spite of fear. And so just keep taking action. I remember T. Harv Eker used to walk on stage and he goes, I was afraid to come on stage when I first started, but I just took one step after another. I walked up on the stage and I had to perform. So in spite of the fear, just take action anyways. You know that there's going to be something, a power and a presence there, infinite intelligence to guide you and to see you through. With that, I think we're
excellent. That's excellent. That's excellent. And we will see you through on Tuesday, New Thought Tuesdays. We'll see you 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Go to newthoughttuesdays.com and sign up for our reminder email where you'll get the private link to join us on Tuesdays in the Facebook room. After we have, Rich and I have our 20-minute discussion, then the whole community can join in together on Zoom privately and discuss and share and grow. And I love that we're doing this. So we'll see you on Tuesdays. And thank you for coming to us from the campground in Santa Barbara.
Oh yeah, camping this weekend. You know, over, under, around, or through, T. Harv Eker said, whatever it takes, I will do. So I got on today, huh? We did the broadcast. Thank you, Dean.
We did it. So we'll see you on Tuesday.
Take care. Bye.